Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the summary for the day of 337 to 338 for the 16th to 17th of January. So I missed the report yesterday because after updating the entire map, I was so sleepy, so tired that I went to sleep. So end up I woke up a bit too late, so I cannot do the report. So anyway, we'll do it today. And the biggest news I think is actually the news that the Russian military is planning to expand by another 50% from 1 million troops to 1.5 million troops. I'm not going to go through this because I already done a video exclusively on this on the Defense Politics Asia main channel. So go and check out the main channel. I'll put the link at the end of this video. And also another big news is coming from Ukraine. So Arestovich, the advisor to Zelensky, and basically he is the best friend of Zelensky, and they have been around working together in the entertainment industry for years, and he resigned, or rather he got fired. Either way, it's the same thing. He left the post of the advisor to the office of the president of Ukraine. What happened was that he claimed that the Dnipro missile strike, remember the missile strike that I asked you to go and check it out with the video by Alex. The video, that missile strike was, he claimed that Arestovich claimed that it might actually be the Russian missile got shot down by Ukrainian air defense, and the shot down projectile actually dropped onto the residential building in Dnipro, and as a result blowing up the residential building. And he said that by saying this, projecting that maybe there could be something else to a direct hit by the Russian military, because it is not a military target. He got sharply criticized by the Ukrainian society, and in fact even the MPs, some of the MPs are trying to get him something like arrested for treason or something like that. So so there's no freedom of speech in Ukraine anymore. So there's no freedom of thought. Everything must be pro-Ukraine. So this is all I can see. And there is this interview that I saw of Arestovich saying some really frank stuff. I have no idea when it was recorded. He's basically saying the problem with the suppression of their Soviet history, the Russian speaking people, and the consequences of doing something like this is actually against the interests of Ukraine. And it was really frank, and it was actually accurate, but I have no idea when it was recorded. It seems like it was recorded just recently, and looks like this guy is not going to survive very long. I think he's going to get arrested or sent to jail or something like this, or he might be assassinated, because he's too high profile to be let away to just speak whatever he wants. And okay, moving on to the southern front, we have nothing here at the southern front, except that there was this drone attack reported near Sevastopol. So the target was actually Sevastopol, and according to Ryba, the air defense actually shot down all the targets, and later they actually came up with additional information that there was a total of 10 drones, and in 2 waves, so both of them got destroyed. And then before I move on, previously I know I used this map, which I think is actually pretty cool, and I also listened to some of the feedback. I put the water to blue, and there's also some changes to the wordings and everything, and I also changed some of the coding. So it actually works better, but however, of course, I also prefer to see the satellite images. It's just that this is actually very useful to see supply lines and train tracks and everything. So we'll continue to use it, but mainly we will still present using the satellite view until there's a need to actually check out where is the resupply routes and communication roads. So at the southern front along Kherson, we do not have any information of anything fighting or anything. Over the Zaporizhia line, at Zaporizhia line, there is some activities. The Russian forces bombarded Stepov. So this is reported by the Russian Defense Ministry, where the Eastern Military District, so the units here is from the Eastern Military District, launched strike at the 65th Mechanized Brigade of the Ukrainian forces. And they also hit the 108th Territorial Defense near Novosilka, which is actually here. So these two locations got bombarded, and it's kind of surprising because the Eastern Military District is now here. Previously, my understanding that it's the Chechen forces that was actually along the Zaporizhia line. So maybe there might be some changes to some rotation. Perhaps the Chechen forces got taken back, bring back to have their R&R relaxing, and so anyway, there is a Ukrainian attack at Levatny. So according to the Russian Defense Ministry, they say that there is a Ukrainian sabotage reconnaissance group. I would just say, to me, it's just an offensive towards Levatny, probably from Ohilske. So this is a thing. The Russians are reportedly attacking the Velika Novosilka, according to War Gonzo. But I suspect this might be actually outdated information, because they might have just copied this from the Ukrainian Defense Ministry from the day before. And so that's all from the Zaporizhia line. And moving on to the Donetsk region, at the Donetsk front. And Donetsk is actually in this area here, in case you guys need to know where. Over at the Soledar line, so this is Soledar, and then this is the Soledar line. At the Soledar line, there is Russian bombardment on Zolota Neva, and as well as Preshestivka on the 17th of January. There was fighting reported at Preshestivka, according to War Gonzo. And again, this seems like a repeat of what the Ukrainian Defense Ministry reported the day before. So this is also why over time I observed the patterns and trends, which is why I can tell you that War Gonzo have to believe half, because they do copy a lot of the SITREP or their reports based on the Ukrainian Defense Ministry's report, which is kind of weird. And the attack at Soledar is not repeated. The Ukrainians, however, did attack Volodymyrivka. This is part of the same report talking about the Levatny. So the Ukrainians did try to do something. The Russians, however, over the Marinka and Novo-Mikhailivka region is still on the offensive, with fighting reported at Novo-Mikhailivka on the 16th, maybe also a repeat of what Ukrainian Defense Ministry reported. And then Marinka and Bodyeda, both locations reported fighting on both days. So the Ukrainian Defense Ministry and Riba each mentioned one day that there is fighting. However, the one at Boyeda is both reported by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. And that's all from the Marinka region. We do not have any reports of fighting at Krasnohorivka. Over at the Pervomaisky-Pisky region, a lot of activities around here. So the Ukrainian Defense Ministry reported fighting at Siversk on the 16th. On the 17th, the Ukrainian source, the pro-Ukrainian source Deep State UA, reported that the Russians had some success in the battles for Siversk. They also say that there is the same sentence also mentioned Pervomaisky, which means that at Pervomaisky as well, there is some success for the Russian forces. The fighting here is reported by War Gonzo as well as at this state UA. And so moving on to Vodian region. Vodian, there is a lot more information here. We have fighting reported at Vodian on both days, on the 16th and on the 17th. Riba and the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. And then Riba also added additional information saying that there is fighting on the eastern side of Vodian, coming from Opitne. So the Russian forces that captured Opitne continue to push westward towards Vodian. There is also fighting towards Siversk, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry on the 16th, for the 16th, not on the 16th, but for the 16th of January. And Opitne itself, there is fighting reported north of Opitne, and on the 17th, Riba continued to report that the Russian forces continue to push northwards at Opitne. How far did they push? No, I'm not so sure. Deep State UA, the pro-Ukrainian source, also reported fighting on the south of Avdiivka, according to at the south of Avdiivka. This is by the Deep State UA, the pro-Ukrainian source. At Kayamka, the Ukrainian Defense Ministry reported there is fighting at Kayamka on the 16th, and this was repeated by War Gonzo on the 17th. See the pattern. And over at the New York region, we have no updates of any fighting. The fighting reported at Novobakhmutivka as well as at near Banyos is not repeated. And there's no Ukrainian shootdowns of aircraft. No aircraft from the Ukrainians are getting shot down. Moving on to the Bakhmut front. At the Bakhmut front region, the fighting reported at Kleshevka is pretty heavy. According to Riba, on the 16th there is heavy fighting around here, and on the 17th, Deep State UA reported that the Russian forces have captured a significant part of Kleshevka, and there is some rumors, Kleshevka has been captured. I saw people, talking about it in the comments and everything. I'm not sure where you got it. None of my trusted source actually says it. In fact, military info actually made it a point to say that the information about the capture of Kleshevka is premature, and the fighting actually continues for the settlement. So, if you find the information from a specific source, maybe don't read so much from that source, because don't encourage fake news. Moving on to the Bakhmut region, there is fighting reported okay, so there's some updates in terms of where the front line is at Bakhmut city. So currently it's at Mali Troitsky lane. So the fighting is now around Mali Troitsky lane. This is information from the 17th, which is actually as latest as it possibly be from the pro-Russian source Riba. So this fighting on the south. We have reinforcement reported at the south of Bakhmut. The reinforcement is the 63rd separate mechanized brigade of the Ukrainian side. On the Ukrainian Defense Ministry reported fighting on both days, 16 and 17, so this is not as particularly surprising. The Riba itself, they say that the fighting is actually at Patrica Lumumbi Street. So it's still this street, So, or maybe it's the street inside the suburb here. I have no idea. So they just say that in the urban area. So maybe it's this area here. So they're fighting along this street here. I believe that it's still probably in the earlier part, the frontal part. Not really at the rear part. So this is fighting on the eastern side. On the northern side, the information reported by Riba is actually along Trudove Resevi. However, this street doesn't exist at least on my map. The closest is actually to Trudova Street. So I believe this might be the street. And if the fighting is along the street here, then that might be suggesting that the Russian forces have managed to cross the Bakhmutovka River. So this river here, the Russian forces might have been able to cross it somewhere, somehow, and are able to fight along this road. Somehow this Trudova Street is only to this part here, in the southern part. If you go further up north, the street actually changed name. It become Sviato Georgievska Street. So it's a different street. The changing point is actually at this junction here. Anywhere south of this junction is actually Trudova. So this information might be wrong. I just want to put this earlier. The name Trudove Reserve is actually something like a gym or sports club kind of thing. So it's a Soviet era thingy. They still exist in Russia. I'm not sure where is this in Ukraine. I believe it's referring to this street. So take this with a pinch of salt, So especially if you are pro-Russian, you have a lot here, We captured a lot, right? If you are, the pro-Russian sources. But if you are pro-Ukrainian, there's no salt for you. So borrow some from the pro-Russians. I think they are very friendly. Moving further up north of Bakhmut, there is fighting reported at Paraskovievka, according to Riba, and as well as also Riba on the 16th and on the 17th. Fighting is also reported at Krasnohora for on both days, and there's also fighting at Blahodane on both days. All the information is coming from Riba or Riba. Actually, I prefer the word Riba. Riba doesn't sound cool. No, Riba sounds cooler. So coming to Soledar, the bra that doesn't look like a bra the moment I use this mapping. Actually, it looks okay. It still looks braish. So anyway, at the very end of the bra, okay, let's start off with this information. The salt mine number 7 has been captured by the Russian forces on the 16th, and then the fighting was still reported by Riba on the 16th. And this is some kind of a backtrack, because previously the Riba reported it was captured, and then suddenly they say there's cleansing, and then now the fighters are still hiding underground. It's very here and there. The Ukrainian Defense Ministry reported fighting is still ongoing in Soledar. Then there is intel coming from Intel Slava that Zelensky has still not ordered a withdrawal from Soledar, despite the armed forces of Ukraine commands requesting for permission to withdraw unit westward. And so far, according to Intel Slava's this report that they aggregated, the forces still have not received such an order. However, all other services has been evacuated from the city. Probably fire departments, emergency departments, everything has been evacuated, leaving only the military. So this was the information from the 16th, and on the 17th, the Riba finally reported that the Wagner private militia contractors have finished their cleansing operation, and the entire city, according to Riba, directly, it's not a share, it's not a retweet kind of thing. It's completely controlled by the Russian forces, and as such, I have moved the red border all the way to the entirety of Soledar. However, the blue one I will still keep it because this information will need some corroboration, and I want to see what the Ukrainian side say, whether they lose the position or fighting is being reported way away from this area. We shall continue to monitor, but most likely Soledar is more or less fully captured. So you cannot blame me for not declaring Soledar captured earlier, because Riba themselves still reports fighting at this location on the 16th. You see, search is still underway for individual fighters hiding in the mine, and then they almost completed cleansing. So basically they're still fighting there. Especially the Ukrainian Defense Ministry also reported that they are still fighting at Soledar. So it's not right for me to just declare Soledar captured. However, there is a Russian Sukhoi 25 in a very rare instance where the Ukrainian Air Force reported the exact location that it was shot down. Sukhoi 25, the Russian Sukhoi 25 shot down near Soledar on the 17th of January at 3:20 p.m. So this is shot down by the anti-aircraft missile force. So that's interesting. Over in the northern part, this area is Silj. So anyway, at Silj, first we have Deep State UA reported a photo that was geolocated to be actually the Silj train station, and with that actually creates a huge guide or signal that most of the central part of Silj has been captured by the Russian forces. And then the rumors on the 16th was that Silj has been captured. This is actually according to some report. Riba themselves do not confirm it. They only say that according to some report, Soledar has been captured. A Seoul has been captured. And then they themselves reported full control over the territory of the Seoul railway station, which is probably just around the railway station. And on the 17th, Ryba actually reported that the Wagner private military contractor has completely liberated Silj. So this is why we can confirm that at least this area is captured. However, the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, while reported fighting on the 16th, they also reported fighting at the 17th, and as such, they dispute the capture of Silj. And we shall continue to monitor and see what is the situation. Maybe the Russian side, the pro-Russian analysts are too eager to declare the capture. Maybe there is indeed still fighting at Silj. We shall continue to monitor. However, there is information coming from Rusich Army, which is a pro-Russian source, saying that the Russian forces during the night offensive have advanced 1.2 kilometers towards Vasyukivka, and this is actually a very important move, because the capture of Vasyukivka would actually cancel away this entire. They can actually control this entire road, preventing the Ukrainian forces from using this southern main road. Not very main, but it's still a decent road. As you can see, you can still see the road. It's still a decent road. The main road is actually further up north from Liman. So by capturing this point, the Siversk front will actually lose a supply line, and they will only left with only the Zakine one, which they have to go through Kryvaluka and then go one big round through Alexandrivka, or they can actually use the smaller road along the river that via Riznikivka and Kaliniki. So it is very inconvenient for the Ukrainian forces should Vasyukivka be captured. Then the entire southern part of the Siversk front will be severely impacted in terms of reinforcement and resupply and everything. So and as you can see, this entire farmland here don't really have roads. There's actually no roads being shown, so it's not so convenient to traverse through this area here. As you can see, the length distance here is 2 kilometers, so this area here could easily be 10 kilometers. So the 10 by 10 kilometers farmlands, so not a good place to trek through. Reinforcement has been reported north of Silj near Krasnopolivka, because they need to continue to hold this position, with fighting reported at Krasnohorivka on the 16th and on the 17th. And there's fighting also reported at Rozdolivka, according to Ryba, on the 17th. Vasily was, so now we are in Siversk front. At Vasily, there is fighting reported on both days, and according to the Rusich army, they say that the advance towards Vasily is up to 1.5 kilometers deep. So not moving northward. I did not really change the map because I'm not sure where they actually start counting. Did they actually capture Vasily, or they actually counting from below near Yakovlivka? So I have no idea. So I'm just going to ignore that information for now. There is fighting reported at Bilohorivka in the Donetsk, according to War Gonzo, and there is fighting reported at Spurny on the 16th, and Verkhovno-Kanyamsky on the 16th, and then there's also fighting reported at Bilohorivka. So according to War Gonzo, they say that on the 16th, the fighting at Bilohorivka is actually from the southeast. Previously, they say that the fighting is mostly coming from the north, and the Ukrainian Defense Ministry continued to report fighting on the 17th. What is significant, in my opinion, is the Russian Defense Ministry reported fighting at Krychorivka as well as at Serebryanka. So they have quite a detailed information saying that there's intensive action of motorized rifle units and strike launched by artillery by the Central Military District at the concentration of Ukrainian manpower of this unit, and they also they took out some troops. Yeah. So what is significant is they are actually fighting at these two towns, so with ground forces. So I believe that this actually corroborates that the Russian forces indeed is around this region between Verkhovno-Kanyamsky and these two towns or two villages, because it's unlikely that they are attacking from the north because of all these rivers. As you can see, no, it's very complicated to cross this place. What else? That's all from the Siversk front. Moving to the Crimea front, we have fighting reported at Dibrova, with the Russians launching an offensive in this direction. Then there is also fighting reported towards Zarishny. According to Ryba, they say that there is a successful assault towards Zarishny, and there is artillery bombardment at Terny, according to the Russian Defense Ministry, on the 16th. And there is fighting reported near Sheveno-Popivka, according to War Gonzo, or what the Russians call Krasno-Popovka. And that's all from the Crimea front. And what is significant is that there is no Ukrainian offensive. The tide has changed to entirely the Russians doing the attacking. Moving to the Svetove front, we do not have any active fighting around here, except there is bombardment reported at Novoselivske here, and there is also bombardment at Berestove, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. And just looking at the terrain here, you can see that the Russians, behind the Russians, are all very hilly regions, and it's conceivable that the Russians may have some high grounds trying to defend. But I'm not reading too much into this, so I'm just telling you that there is something like this. The ground here is not really flat. Further up north to the Kupiansk region, there is bombardment at Ivanivka on the 17th, Timkovka, as well as at Sinkivka on the 16th. These are all reports from the Russian Defense Ministry. The fact that the reports here is only from the Russian Defense Ministry suggests that this area here is all fought exclusively by the Russian regular forces. The Ukrainian forces actually launched an attack near Liman Pershi. This is reported by the Russian Defense Ministry, and there was a bombardment reported at Voreshna on the western side of the Oskil River, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. And that's all from the Kupiansk front, and that's all for the summary for the day of 327 to 328. Please help me press the like button. Let's aim to hit 3,000 likes. That would help a lot to reach more people. And subscribe if you have not subscribed. Share this with your friends and family contacts. And if you want to access this map, not this particular map with this one, but the usual this map, you have to become a DPA officer on Ko-fi or Patreon, or perhaps even what is it called, the last one. Yeah, just check the description below. You will find the links there. And yeah, you need to become a DPA officer in order to have access. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next update.